Hello, everybody. Welcome, Facebook world. Hello. Welcome to therapy session. First episode of our podcast. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm going to introduce the panel, which I've already kind of shown you guys, but nonetheless, we're going to introduce everybody. We're going to start with JT.
Yes, y'all. It's JT, man. Big ups to everybody, man, that's conscious out there.
Jackie.
Therapy sessions. This is Foxy J coming at you. Hello.
We got OG Craig.
What's up, everybody? My name is Craig. They call me OG, the beat to the street.
Hey.
And last but definitely not least, Melissa.
I guess I'll be the chocolate bunny.
The chocolate
Chocolate
bunny.
bunny.
I think to that
Check
one.
me out. This one me on me all the time.
And then there's me, Cecily. The diva. The diva.
Okay, now.
So thank you guys for joining. This has been a long time putting this together, thinking about it, planning, designing what I wanted this to look like, what I wanted this to feel like. I want this to be a lot different than the that we have seen, know, watch, or familiarize ourselves with. There's a lot of topics out here, a lot of things that people are constantly questioning and don't understand, different perspectives and point of view. So therapy session is just us sitting down, having real conversation, getting real deep, and coming up with some conclusions and some answers and different perspectives on everyday issues.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
That's that. We getting real. So I hope you guys have your bubbly. I got mine. We all got ours.
Cheers.
And I hope y'all sit back and ready. Sit back, get ready, tune in, chill, and let's tear it up.
Righty.
Hey,
Let's talk about it.
how was your day?
Day was fine, you know, and I couldn't wait to get on here, man. I'm proud of you, man, like doing everything and getting all of this stuff behind the scenes set up. So, you know, shout out to you. I just had a great day waiting on this thing. I didn't go to work.
Stop it. You did go to work though.
We had to go to work.
You didn't just
No,
say
no,
that.
I was
on
We gotta
the
pay
live.
bills.
No, I was hurt.
No, wait a minute. Y'all missed the point.
First
Y'all
and
didn't
foremost.
say that on a live.
I'm running things. so I
Where
don't
people
care.
watching that you just said you didn't go to work.
We gotta pay the
It's
bills.
okay.
He took a sick day. He has some
Yeah, I got to see
PTO.
that. Okay,
Okay.
all right. I got paid.
I work from home.
Right, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I work from home
I'm
today.
working from home today.
I have been a ball of nerves for the past 4 days, rightfully up until
Why?
literally 20 minutes ago. I just want things to be
Let's
perfect.
talk about
I
that.
just want things to be perfect. That's all.
So we had to have a little powwow, cause she's talking about she just.
She's gonna
out.
put my business on Facebook.
I'm not about to say it. I'm not about to say it.
Right.
Say it. We still say it.
On the spot right away.
No, we have these conversations, you know, in these group settings all the time. There's
Mhm.
nothing different than
Exactly.
us having this conversation
Pretty much this is
with
what
an
we do.
audience.
Hey,
It's
hey,
different for me,
spill
though,
the
'cause I
beans,
just-
man. We ain't
I
got
just-
time to be playing them games. What you scared of?
We already know.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about it, baby. That's what we here.
What
Therapy
is Cecily
session.
scared of?
Therapy session. Let's go.
Therapy session.
Cecily is a perfectionist. Cecily's name is on something. I want it to be right.
Okay.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that's
Okay.
what I'm nervous
And I want you to be right.
It's
But let's
gonna be
talk
right.
about it.
That's why we here to talk about
We're about to
it.
have fun. It's gonna be
We're gonna
good.
have a lot of fun.
Well, let's get right on in.
Yeah, let's jump into
No,
these
Craig,
family matters.
Craig ain't tell us about
Yeah,
it.
I
I
ain't
know,
saying
I know
nothing
about that,
that.
Fred. We just cut you off. Watched you off.
We ready to jump
Just so
in.
y'all know, we're not twins. We just look like that.
They twins.
You know, people, my day was pretty much what my day normally be. Besides, I was off work today, so I was out doing OG type of things. You know, one call does it all. You know, get things done, helping people out, doing what I do.
Okay.
You know, but I'm here now. We ready to get this talk on. So I'm gonna leave it to Melissa.
And let me just let y'all know real quick, Craig has been turned up literally a week. I have never talked to Craig as much as I've talked to Craig in the
Going
last
in the
week.
community, getting it popping.
Yes,
That's right, y'all. Like, share, tell a friend. We here.
we here.
Every
All right, let's
Tuesday.
get into
Yeah,
it.
let's get into it, man.
Family
It's about-
matters.
Family matters.
We're gonna talk about families. We're gonna talk about parents. We're gonna talk about kids.
Mhm.
We're gonna talk about, well, eventually we're gonna talk about dudes. Their relationships, but we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna structure it. We're gonna build the foundation that's gonna lead us right into talking about relationships and all that stuff. So family matters, man. What's up with these parents and kids?
Well, we know from the top, man, that family structures, man, especially in the black community, has been kind of like topsy-turvy a little bit. And what I want to get to the point, man, is like, what are we doing, man, as far as our structures, man? You know what I mean? How does my daughter know how to find a man? How does my son know how to find a woman? You know what I mean? And how does he know how to provide? How does she know how to provide? You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, we dealing with I look out to you women as the elders, so to speak, man.
Not
When it comes down
elders.
to my kids.
I
When it
ain't
comes
elders.
when it comes down to my
I'm
kids. So you're an elder if you're in the 6th grade and you got a 1st grader. You know what I'm saying? You're older than them. I'm not saying y'all old ladies, but you're older
Okay.
than my kids.
So we the elders.
We the auntie.
I mean, the auntie, not elder. Elder.
I'm like, cause
Hey,
I like
that's one,
already me. I know I ain't.
that's one of the barriers
I
right
ain't no
there, man.
elder.
We ain't worried about our age, cause one thing we gotta recognize too is that, yo, getting old, man, is the game plan.
That
Yeah,
it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? Especially in
And a
our
privilege.
community.
And a
You
privilege.
know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that basically, man, like I want to be able to teach our kids, not just my kids, but your kids. If I see your kid in the store, if I see your kid in the street,
But that's
or
what we gotta
somewhere
get
like
back
that.
to.
Oh.
But we know
We
that's
don't
not.
want to that.
We're not
That's what we
going
gotta
for
get
that
And
back
I was
to.
just about to say, with things being the way they are, these kids are challenged with everything.
Everything
And some of it's
everybody.
good and some of it's not good. But they definitely are pushing us into the future. So how do we do things like that? You know, educate these kids in
Structure.
today's time.
Structure. I think it starts with family values. It starts with morals. It's structure to me.
Morals are subjective.
Mhm.
Values are
This is
subjective.
true. This is true.
And that's why a village can't raise kids no more, because
Right.
everybody's house has different morals and different values. So if I
Exactly.
send mine outside and your morals and your values don't align with what I got going on in my
I'm
house,
gonna
and
need
you
you
try
to
to
talk to my
inflict your
kid.
stuff on my kid,
Yeah.
now we got a problem.
Yeah. I think gone are the days where the village was similar. And honestly, to some extent, it was kind of toxic. But nonetheless, it was similar. Gone are those days, because like you said, you know, everybody's values and things are different. How I parent, how I see life, what I want my kids to do is usually so much different than someone else. So it's kind of almost like,
It's hard to believe. I get what y'all saying, but what was wrong with the structure they had when I was a kid?
You had two parents in the house?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
So there's the structure right there. We had two different structures.
So no, what I mean is that I'm not saying that the dude that's standing at the corner store is supposed to teach my kid life, but they should be able to push him in the right direction, man. Like yo, don't do that no more. No, you can't do that. Don't do that.
Or my core should.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
people who I actually value should be
Right.
able
You know what I'm
to.
saying? I think that we can't just block out everybody.
What I've seen lately in the news is the dude at the corner who's supposed to be pushing that child in the right direction
It's
is
the one
actually
that's carrying
like,
them in the wrong
come
direction.
on, get this money with me. I need you to
Exactly.
play lookout. I
Oh.
need you in the game with me.
Oh,
things
for
are just
sure.
different.
I think that's actually how it's always been. Like, we don't really want the dude on the corner to steer our kids
Well,
in
I
any type
mean,
of direction.
well-
Honestly.
We want him to stay away.
That should be our
As
core
far as
focus
making our
group.
kids possible.
Anytime I see a young king or a young queen out there, man, I try to give them the best advice I can whenever I can. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it just walking up and seeing a young girl and saying, how you doing, queen? You know what I mean? Or when I'll come up to the corner stores, I'll be like, hey, what's up, young king? You know what I'm saying? And let them know that I am not to say I'm above them, but I'm older than them. I'm wiser than them. You know what I mean? You and I on our same level, and I think that's the problem nowadays, man. Every kid out there think they're on the level as an adult. Just because you turn 21 don't mean you on my
But I
level.
think that's kind of right passage. Yeah, I
You know
think
what I'm
that's
saying?
right of passage. I think that we all done that. Because I know when I was younger, I at some point thought I was on the same level until my mama checked
I'm
me.
grown. I pay my own
Right, I'm
bills.
taking
You
care of
can't
it.
tell
And
me
really,
nothing.
honestly, I don't think that I was able to adopt the word grown until I was in my 30s. Because there was nothing grown about what I was doing in my 20s. That was just straight out survival and just foolishness. But I don't think I became grown until I was in my 30s. And now you can't tell me, I mean, I just feel like
Well,
it's
now I got a point.
grown.
I got to point a finger, man, because I'm just trying to figure out some
Where
things
you pointing
here.
fingers at?
Now,
Wait a minute.
you know what I mean? Like back in the late 80s, maybe early 90s, there was an epidemic, man, of single women, man, raising kids. You know what I mean? And
I
I'm-
mean,
It was in the 70s.
We
Even-
really going there because we can take this back
even-
to the plantation.
I was about to
Well,
say this
well,
now.
I mean,
Very
like,
much
I'm
so
going
far
back.
than that.
I'm going back from when I started to
Our
notice
time.
it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back to the time that I started noticing it. And one of the things I get, man, is that women in my community, man, when I say women in my community, I'm saying black women, man, because y'all been the pillars. And without with people not recognizing y'all as being the pillars of the community.
I was just gonna
You know what I'm
say, not
saying?
recognized.
And like one of the things I recognize, man, is that, you know, I had a mother, I had aunties, I had grandmothers and stuff like that, and grandma was always the pillar. You know what I mean? And then aunties and mom and all of them followed along the way. You know what I mean? So, but with that being said, the finger point is like, what happened, man? If y'all was running this thing and had this stuff going on, why is it all messed up?
Why we
But the
here
grandmas
now?
from now are not, don't look and don't act and don't detail themselves the way that our grandmas
Oh, for sure.
time.
Plus-
That's part of the issue right there.
That and
The structure
the
is not the same.
situations are a little bit different in terms of what grandma was in versus what we gonna be in.
Trauma gets implanted on the DNA. And it's passed down through generation.
That's that
It's
education
hereditary.
coming in, trauma.
No.
Trauma.
That came into the DNA. What part of the DNA? What you talking? I got a GED here.
We evolve as people.
Not you got a GED, stop saying.
I do. From a correctional
Don't make me
facility.
mute you already.
Yes,
Don't
from a correctional
Don't
facility.
say
I'm
that.
proud.
Yeah.
Now you,
That's
Dude,
right,
right.
stand on
Dude,
it.
graduates.
Stand on it.
I'm just letting you know.
We evolve just like the environment around us evolves. We
Like that
evolve
evolve.
and you mutate as a form of survival. So if your grandmother went through something, it gets implanted on her DNA, however she got through that, and she passes that along to her offspring. And it just keeps going on and on and on until it got to where we at right now. Everybody's dealing with, you can look at some families and see the trauma. You can look at, because everybody in the family act like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they act. That's who they are. And then
So we teach
you have a
someone
family you
something
come from
different.
of your own, and y'all raised a different way,
right.
Right.
and then y'all commingling.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you got this family's ways or whatever they got generationally going on mixed with this family over here, and you got the kids, the
Oh,
offspring.
for sure.
So that's all we dealing with.
And I felt that because like you're right, and that involves with a relationship. She's coming from a different world, and I'm coming from a different world, and we got to infuse that somehow. And sometimes that infusion don't go right.
It don't, especially when you don't take the time to do the research and really dig. When you're young, you don't know how to do that.
Oh,
But you
right.
don't know how to look into that family and really dig and be like, wait a minute, this isn't right, and that's generally how you have that mess.
And if you do the
Then once
research,
you in it, you gotta figure it out.
even
right?
if you do the
I mean,
research, are you backing out, man? Because you already
Depending on what I
into
see,
you
yes,
feel,
yes,
what you
depending
like.
on what I see,
When
yeah.
you're young, you don't. The thing is, most of us have our kids when we're young.
When we're young,
Exactly.
yeah.
When we're not mature enough to even stop and say, oh wait, there's something going on over here. Do I really want to
Or
mix
to try
myself
to
with that?
actually,
Right, or you
But now
want
you
to go
fast
away.
forward yourself 20 or 30 years, and now you're like, no.
Like I did that. It's a whole mix going
Right,
on
right
there.
there. I saw this before.
not to mention half the time you got kids out here raising themselves.
Oh,
That
for
too.
sure.
There is no structure.
They're actually half the time, that's most of the time it seems
All the
like.
time.
Or
Not all the time.
the
all
adults
the
that
time.
are raising kids are still dealing with their own trauma.
Ooh, they're powerful.
And honestly, that's funny that you say that because
Woo!
that's a conversation that I've had with my daughter, my oldest child recently, because I realized, and it's no secret for the last 5 years, me and my daughter have been like this, right? And a lot of the things that my daughter has said to me, I never received it because I always was like, well, tough. I am your mother. I've done this, I've done that, and you're going to just chill out and respect me and cut it out. But in the last 2 years, a year or 2 years, I really had to take a step back to really, because our relationship has always been so combative, I had to take a step back and be like, what am I doing wrong? Maybe it is me, right? Maybe I'm doing something wrong because I don't want to have the same exact relationship that I have with my mother to this present day, which is the same way, right?
Okay.
And I realized that in my younger years, when I had my children and separated from their dad and left, I was coping with my own shit and took it out on them.
Your kid.
That's a lot to even say.
Yeah,
But it's
and that's also, I'm sorry, Jay, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's a lot to actually admit that.
Yeah.
Right.
And how to take the steps to correct it.
Yeah,
So,
because
a lot of us can't do
I
that.
want to break, because this is a cycle in my family. Every woman in the family is always combative with the mother, and it goes all the way back. So And I didn't realize that until these last 2 years, which is why it's so important for families to sit down and talk and not have secrets and not hide shit, because you realize that there's patterns that have been going on for years, and it makes sense as to why this is happening for you. So going forward with my kids, now that I realize it, I make it my business to have a different kind of relationship with my daughters.
Right.
And right now it's working.
Well, you know what, the most important thing of parent, especially myself, is that I want to be able to have my kids be able to come to.
Yes, that's
You know what I'm
very
saying?
important to me.
And
About
to add on to what you're saying, when I was in my 20s, and me and my dad was going back and forth, you don't do nothing right, you know what I mean? But, you know, we went to one time, and I think I was like 22, and he was like, we was talking, and he was like, I'm the father, you don't never listen to me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, Pop, I listen to you, but you have to listen to me. He said, but I'm the father.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know what, Pop, it's like you're teaching me third grade work, and I'm in the 9th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like
So
that.
in order for you to know to start off teaching me, you have to listen to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And put me at my level.
Yes.
Right. So from that point on, he recognized, I could see it in the transformation in his eyes. I mean, so we got like this, because, you know, when I come to him now, he sit down, like, what's going on, son? We start talking, and be like, oh, no, don't go over there to that little credit king, get you a car, go down to the dealer and get you what you need.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it takes a little bit of both of us to realize. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying with your daughters, because your daughters are starting to be an image of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
My
saying?
oldest is me.
You know what
All
I'm
over
saying?
again.
And that be the hardest part, because now you gotta deal with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's a
But
deep
that's
deal.
really how it is. That's really the perspective that my daughter is me all over again. I mean, attitude, thought process, drive, goal, all of it. She's me all over again. So you're right. I have to look at it like, when this was you at that age, you didn't have somebody you could come to that you could talk to. So you gotta be that to her, and you gotta listen and bring yourself down to her. And remember, she's in her early 20s. She's supposed to be stupid right now. This is her job. She's not supposed to be mature. She's supposed to stay
That's not
stupid.
necessarily true. She's
Well,
not supposed to be, no.
She's
You don't
supposed to
have
go through
make that
20-year-old
be their
stuff.
narrative. No.
Right, but they're
I don't
supposed
agree.
to go through 20-year-old stuff. Like, them struggling, them trying to get things on their own, them trying to figure it out. That is their rite of passage. They're trying to figure out who they are, and that is what they're supposed to do at this age. Now, if she's 25, 30, and we still have this problem, then it's gonna be a whole different type of conversation.
Me and my oldest had this whole conversation last week. She had a second Facebook page. She started a new Facebook page and she shut down the old one, but she put this long emotional post about self-evaluation, and I was an asshole in my early 20s, and da-da-da. And I'm sitting there like, what's she talking about, right? Because I don't really remember. She was an asshole to me, but not outside of our house. There would be people who I would see in public, and they always be like, your daughter is so well mannered. She's good.
She danced to the church and everything.
Deasia was just everything.
Right.
And she wasn't that bad. I think we had one little, and that was it. I settled it. It was over. It was over just like that. So she didn't really give me too much of a heartache, just a lot of making 20-something-year-old mistakes. And so when I talked to her, I said, why you put that Margot post up there? She was just like, I just was self-reflecting, and a lot of the self-reflection came from dealing with her brother. And, have I been the greatest role model is kind of where she was at.
Okay.
And she was like, and I had to do a lot of self-reflection and realize where I need to hold myself accountable. But hold yourself accountable, but not beat myself up about things.
Right,
Move forward.
right.
So we
right.
had that.
Move forward.
Right.
We had this whole conversation where I literally told her, you were in your 20s, you're supposed to make those mistakes. You were a kid. You don't have to beat yourself up for being a kid. And I don't it's all that bad.
And you're
Right.
growing up. That's
Okay,
the
so
whole
then I'm
purpose.
gonna catapult us right into these kids being 18 years old and making them understand that they're 8, yes, they're adults, right? Because we come from a school of, okay, you go to college, what you doing?
Kid.
Right, because I'm done.
That doesn't have to be the narrative.
it actually should not
be
be.
the
It should not be the narrative.
Oh,
What I
absolutely.
told both of my daughters is if I did my job, you should have no clue as to what you're doing. If you can turn 18 and move out my house and hold yourself, that meant you was doing it as a child. If I was doing my job, you have no idea what you're doing. And you're supposed to stay home and take care of yourself.
No.
Right.
If I was doing my job, I'm teaching my kids. She's
You are.
moving along.
But
My
your
kids
child should
reach
not
18
at 18 know how to go out and pay rent and pay bills and do it. Your kid don't know how to do that. Not at 18.
Okay, but that's not what you just said.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said and what I meant.
I don't know if that's what she said, let me think about that.
That's not what you said.
Your kids should not
We've
have,
had this conversation in
Oh.
their kids should not be able to go out at 18 years old and pay bills and hold themselves down. They have absolutely no idea what they're doing. If
And
you
every
did
kid
your
is
job.
different. There is some kids who
Well, I
are
say
able
some
to
kids
do
is
that.
able
And
to
that
do
is
that now.
absolutely
And
not the case.
even with that, so I left home at 16.
I left home at 17.
So-
Yeah, that's
And I
what
made
And
bills.
most of us,
I bought a house at
But I didn't have a
I was
choice.
took it from
Yeah,
home.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. We didn't have a choice, and we
I
got out
was
here,
told to
we
get
got
out.
out here, we did.
But no, that's not the case. I'm just saying. So the narrative shouldn't be that at 18 your child should not know, because we should be preparing them.
You should be
I'm not saying
preparing.
the narrative should be that they have to.
Or
but
put
we
it this
should be
way,
preparing
we
them.
should be preparing
They
them
should
to
know.
be able to get out here and position themselves in life, but they're not ready.
Correct.
They're not ready.
Some of them.
Yeah.
So
Some of them maybe.
anything after 18, we supposed to be there. Now it's a different lesson. Now it's a different support as a parent than what they're used to as when they're living home being kids. Now our job changes, and we have to take on a different role to help get them transitioned out into being young adults. If you got a kid that don't want to hear it, because most kids don't.
Well, you know what?
I know I damn sure
I-
didn't, and my youngest
I
did.
did.
From
No, my
talking-
oldest did, my
From
youngest.
talking to everybody in here privately or whatever, everybody here has been out of the house before 21, 18,
Yeah,
whatever.
18.
Absolutely.
And what I recognize, man, is like, I got daughters, man, and son, and like, I'm thinking that they want to be on my level.
Right,
Being out of there, ready to
They're
go.
ready, yes.
You know what I mean? Not to say that I was ready,
yeah.
because I had a lot
But-
of potholes and obstacles to deal with. But you're right, like,
You
once you
survived.
start teaching them, I figured that after 21, you know what I mean, they still needed me.
Yeah,
And that's not because they were slow, it was because a lot of things I didn't know. I wasn't ready to teach it because I had to learn them. So I think when we raising our kids, you know what I mean, even if they 30, there's going to be some things that's going to be, they're gonna need.
hell, I'm 43
You know what I
and
mean?
still need my mother.
And then we have to meet our kids at their level too. I have one child who's probably more exact than the other.
Mhm.
Okay, but they have the same structure, they have the same teachings, they have the same
That's how they learn.
Right.
ruling. You know, one kid has more, is subjected to the worldly than others. So
Mhm.
you have to meet your kid at their level. That's
Mhm.
why.
I think I used to say to Deasia all the time, by when I was your age, or by the time I was your age, I had this, and this. And she just kept saying, but Mom, I didn't grow up like you.
And that's exactly what my child told me. I'm not you.
Like, I didn't have your
Insane.
obstacles.
Have you guys ever heard, man, like, you don't understand, man, it ain't like it was when you was 25.
Yeah, because we used to
Or
say
you
that.
was
I know.
26.
I didn't say that.
It's a different world. It is
But
a totally different
I was
world.
there for 2 times. I was there
Totally
2
different
times
world.
now for 25.
Yeah.
You wasn't there, you just walked in the door.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? How you gonna
Just
tell
started.
me?
Right.
How you gonna tell me? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody, you know what I mean? Like I let them live and learn. Like, for my kids right now, I'm telling them like I give them advice. And if they follow to the letter of the law and it don't work out,
Then
I'm gonna
okay.
do whatever I can to help them. But if you decide to go down that street,
And I told you
And
I
not
told you
to.
not to, or you're gonna feel the monkey.
I'm gonna let you feel the monkey. I'm still there to support you
Exactly.
too.
Oh,
in
anything
spirit and
anything
prayer.
outside of you living on the curb.
Yeah, you go
I would say it is very hard to stick to that. I swear to God.
It is
Not one that will get
torture.
out there and
It's
just
torture.
continuously make
It's
mistakes.
torture.
And it hit my pocket every time
Mhm.
that child makes a mistake. I have to go back in there and clean it up every time the mistake is made.
Mhm.
But my mother used to say, just kick them out.
No.
My mother would say they'll fall, but they'll get back up. And that was, I think that's a lot of the generation before us, that was their philosophy.
That tough love.
It's kind of that,
And that doesn't work
throw
for
them in the air and see if they
every
fly.
child.
It
and
doesn't work for
fly.
every kid. Cause some
It worked
kids,
for
that's
me.
detrimental. If
It
I
worked
do
for
that
you?
to my-
Yeah.
if I do that to
It
my
did,
youngest child,
but you know
she
what?
was down.
And I had that conversation with my mother. She was like, I don't just cut the purse strings.
Cut the
Just
string,
put-
yeah.
Just
No.
put them out.
Cut the bill.
It's real, my mother told me
I
that
wish
too,
I
like,
might.
when
And I
me
know
and my
what.
daughter were
But
going-
that's why we have the relationship that we have now.
Okay, and we're gonna
And I would
transition into
never,
that.
I will never, ever, ever inflict that on any of my children.
So let's transition into that. Oh, except Craig, I know you want to say something, I'm sorry.
No, I'm ready to transition.
Let's
Let's do it.
transition into,
Let's talk about it.
into the, our parents' generation versus us now. Because a lot of my girlfriends, my age, or maybe a little bit older, we have horrible relationships, if any, with our mothers. Yeah.
I don't know about the mothers, but I know growing up, me and my dad, I didn't respect what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got older, I found out like you don't understand a man until you become a father. Or you don't understand your dad until you become a
Right,
father.
right.
And now,
And that's good and bad, because I also understood, when I became a mother, I understood some of the stuff that my mother did, and then I didn't understand some of the stuff. I'm really like, why did you do that to
I
me?
respect everything he's saying now. I be like, want to thump my own self in the head. Like, damn, why you didn't listen?
So
to
it
me?
sounds like
You know
y'all
what I'm
had a
saying?
pretty good dad.
Yeah, our parents,
Right,
Man,
that's
man,
so
you
much.
know,
Our parents wasn't
you know what I got tired of
But
doing?
y'all, because you know that, I know you had a very.
You know what I got tired of doing? I got tired
Yeah.
of,
Oh, never.
I got tired of calling my parents and saying, man, the older I get, the smarter y'all get.
Right, now
You know
y'all
what
look like,
I'm saying?
now y'all look like geniuses. I just want to sit up under my parents and everything they say, I want to write it down. Ooh, you say go get dinner, ooh, you know, it's like.
Going back to what you were saying is, I feel like we hold our parents at a certain standard when they were really
Doing what they could.
they were a product of their environment. They were
Right.
doing what they taught,
Mhm.
you know? So we're all evolving
But at
from one
what-
generation to the next.
At what point, if I've gotten the healing that I needed for myself, or whatever the upbringing I thought was wrong, or whatever, I went and did the work for myself, at what point am I telling my mother, now you need to do this, because I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with you?
And
Because I
that's a
feel that
conversation we
generation
have
is
to
very
have.
arrogant, as if they feel as
That
if,
is
well,
true.
I did it, so, I mean, I'm your mother and you gonna tolerate it.
Yeah.
And,
And that is a conversation at a respectable level.
Right.
That we should be able, or we need to
Yep.
have with our parents, especially if those relationships are not there.
I don't have the answer to this question. I have this problem with my mother. I've had this problem with my mother for years. I love my mother to death. There's nothing I wouldn't do for her. But there's just certain things that my mother does in terms of how she treats me that I've seen birthed into my adult life in terms of how I am with men, how I am with females.
And it still affects you.
And it still affects me, and I don't know I know how to heal from it, because I can recognize it now, and I can say, okay, this is how I handle it. But it now affects, because of the things that I see that I don't like, I have to now set boundaries, and it affects my relationship with
And
my
that goes
mother.
back to what you were just speaking of, the arrogance.
It's the
that-
arrogance of that generation.
That's the
It's a hard
difference.
conversation to have.
It's not just the air, they were
That's a big
raised
difference.
in the churches.
Come on, Glenn.
They were,
Glenn,
they
they're
were
over there going
raised
through it,
totally
okay?
different, and in the church, you just obey what is
And
told
you
to
just
you, you
obey.
don't ask no questions, and that is the law, and in their heads, that's still the law.
So
That it is.
you're talking about parents, so I grew up in the Caribbean, so we were raised different, so I didn't grow up with my father, but I knew my dad really well, no issues. My whole neighborhood raised us, like my neighbors raised us, you know, my auntie, they raised us too, but my neighbor whooped my ass when my mom goes to work. So my mother was a great mother, she raised 4 boys on her own, strong woman, straight, I love her to death. She's still the strongest woman I've ever met, and she reminds me, not saying that I'm a female, but I'm more like a mom. She's strong-minded, and she's very well-rounded. And she's always in church, but I'm not really in the church like that. I'm not gonna lie, but I do believe in the spiritual part of the church. But
Yes.
my mother raised us, and the whole neighborhood raised
But
us
let
as a
me interrupt
family.
you real quick. What
But-
you just said is exactly what you're supposed to say.
I'm,
You were believing
I'm
in
strong-minded.
spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm very strong-minded,
Yes.
and nothing really affects me like that. But sometimes I get emotional.
Yes.
But my mother raised 4 boys. She raised us the way how he is these days. But going back to what you said about the issues you have. So me, some people hold issues in, and sometimes you need to talk about it like you did just now. But that's not gonna solve your problem. Sometimes you gotta let that stuff go. Cause you know, your grown kids, you wanna have grandkids. And that's might help you be better in life. And stop trusting men more instead of putting people down. I'm not saying that that's what you do,
But
but you need to open up.
what if you've let it go? Like I said, you've let it go. You've done the work on yourself. You've healed. You've let it go.
Right.
But you still have to deal with this.
Right.
Same.
It's hard to heal and let go when you continue to keep being stabbed in the same spot.
Yeah.
Now the spot is scabbed up and healed, and then here it go, it getting in there. How do you go?
But that's
through it?
like you said, when you set your boundaries, and
Yeah.
you just have to attest that this is not, Lord, today is gonna be my day, it's gonna be a good day, the sun is bright, I'm positive, my energy is right. This is not gonna bother me today, you are not gonna bother me today. And anytime you know you have to be in her presence, you say that, you manifest that to yourself before you walk in the door. This is not gonna bother me today, I'm gonna be upbeat.
I'm gonna open up.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what it is that you just have to adjust because this is who this person is.
Right.
And I can't change
And
them
maybe
for
that's
who
my
they
problem,
are,
too. Maybe
but
I'm trying
I
to-
have to love them for who they really are.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So with
Because
that
the
being
fact that
said,
you do love them.
yeah, for the same thing, my hot water is too hot in the shower, but I have to get in and adjust the hot water a little bit. and
Except
get
me,
it to-
I just jump in and be
to
like,
I can handle it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can handle it.
I love hot water.
You know what I mean? I can be dating myself. I can be dating myself, man. When I'm saying like, when we bought cars before that was old, like I was getting old cars when I first started driving. And you can get in the car, and when it's in park, when you put it in park, it don't say P. It say 1, 2, or 3 or neutral. You know what I'm saying? But I have to adjust. Can't nobody else get in there and just take off. They have to figure it out.
Right.
So what I'm saying to say this is that, you know what I mean, like, you know, when you're talking about moms or dad and things like that nature, you know what I mean, like when I was like 19, 20, I come over to my mom's house, you know what I mean, and I was like, Mom, what's for dinner? Because, you know, even after I left home,
Oh, you was doing
I was
that
coming
as a
back home
child.
for dinner.
You
know what I'm
doing that
saying?
as a child too.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean, she looked me dead in the face and said, I'm cooking.
She probably took her drink and was like,
You know what I'm saying? I'm cooking. But you know what I mean, from a child, an adolescent, or infant, that's who was cooking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I know. You know what I mean? But now I learned that, you know, either cook myself, you know what I'm saying, or
She was
go
like, I don't
to
think
these
the
little
hands is
spots. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying to you is that you have to give moms a little break, man, because she's coming from a different era and she's coming from a different time. In the era that she came up in, children were done around 18, 19 years
she
old.
done cooking.
You know what I mean? So when she's looking at you,
And she was done cooking.
done
you know, so when she's looking at you and you coming, she's like,
Why these pots ain't ready?
why are you
Why
still
you not bringing
here?
up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
What's going on?
And like, I mean, I do that with you know, my kids too, you know what I mean? Like, they call me and say, I need this, I need that, man, when did I become a part of that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What you talking about?
Like my daughter's business business somehow has
That's how they made it.
Sometimes my daughter opens up a business, I'm a silent partner. Somewhere in the mix, I just hold the financial part, she does the rest of it.
My
Mom, I
baby
want to open a
girl,
cleaning business, I need a vacuum cleaner and a broom. How quickly can you get that to me? Wait, this is your cleaning business. If I'm playing, it's mine. So-
my son called me and asked me to fix him something to eat, I'll fix him something to eat.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, you gonna do that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That's mother, that's
And
a
I don't
mother.
feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
I do.
If I feel like it.
I don't.
No.
Even if I do it, even when I don't feel
There's
like
nothing
it.
wrong with fixing
I mean,
You know why I feel like ain't
But how
nothing
do
wrong
you do
with
with your
that?
daughter?
You know what I'm talking about?
My daughter moved out of state, so
It's the
she,
same
thing.
but honestly,
I think
she
that's
was not
nurturing.
self-sufficient.
And I feel
There's a
needed.
big
She
difference.
I
got
feel
away
needed.
from me.
I still feel like
That's
I'm
nurturing.
I still feel like I'm needed because Destiny came home and was like, Mom.
I think that's just good nurturing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's different when they're adults. They just don't need you like they used to need you.
But that's the problem right there, because y'all women, not saying women.
Well, you just said it.
Say it, say it, man.
they don't know how to let go. They keep thinking that a grown ass man is still a kid. So you guys nurture the kids way too much.
And I'll give it to like with the fathers with the son, with the
That's
daughters.
baby you're grown.
Yeah, I don't feel that way.
But the fathers with the daughters, man, like that's tough.
I
Go ahead,
didn't
boy.
birth
She got the
boys.
girl.
I birthed 2 girls. But I am stepmom to
Right.
2 boys.
But she's
I didn't
still.
birth them. Those are my
Tough.
Is she enabling with the boys or is she
No.
not with the boys?
I am not.
But I think we
Can they
different.
call her and say, I need a plate and she gonna fix it?
Yes, they can.
Oh.
But do you think that it's just,
That's
okay,
different.
so, here's my next question, this
You
is
can't
an interesting
The younger
segue.
ones.
This is an interesting segue. Do you think, because I remember when I was with my ex before he passed on, he had 2 boys.
Mhm.
And I was just a little different to the boys than I was to the girls, and he was a little different to the girls than he was to the boys. So do you think that
We
it's just like
definitely
that?
raise
That's
our
natural.
boys different than we raise
Yeah.
our
Well,
boys.
it's
No,
always,
and I'm not
it's
talking about
always
raising,
been
I mean
mama's.
like
Just
their soft
the
spot.
sex.
It's always mama's boy and like
I'm a mama's boy.
what is it, daddy's girl.
Yeah.
Daddy's
You know what I'm
girl.
saying? And I got daughters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm closer to my daughters than I am with my son, man. Shout out to my son, whenever you happy.
Shout out to
But-
Destiny and Jada. I love you. Jada, get your homework done.
But, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? And like my daughters, I might complain all the time, but, you know, I find myself still doing it. Like, oh, damn, I gotta get up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
We are.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No matter how long I worked, you know what I mean? No matter what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Like, they can
I
still
mean,
call.
you was on the phone yesterday when I had Jaden, and I was letting Jaden have it for having me ride all over Rochester, trying to find a place for her to get her fingerprints, and she had no idea where she was going, but I'm taking her tomorrow.
Yeah. See, now, I think it was about a month ago, you was talking about your daughter hid the
But she
cookies.
got her.
They were in
Right,
neighborhoods.
right.
Your daughter hid the cookies and you wanted to fight her?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, she looking out for you.
Yeah,
She
she's
was
looking
in the
out.
neighborhood.
When my daughter moved out of state, that is when it kind of just ended.
Mhm.
As long as she was here, I was still catering and I was still nurturing. When she and it was, she even said, I think I just needed to get away from you in order to, you know, fly into my full self. Because as long as you're there for them, they're always looking, they're always gonna be dependent
Oh,
on you.
that's a twofold thing, because you're gonna always, no matter what, take care of your kids.
Yeah.
You don't wanna see them
Exactly.
on the side of the
My
curb.
kids ain't gonna be out.
The tough love is hard to
It's
get.
It is very
You
hard.
know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And then
they'll make you do it.
the other
sometimes.
side of the cookie is they gonna take it as long as you give it.
Yeah.
It's not so hard. Tough love is not so hard. That's within yourself.
Yeah.
Like your kid can't make you.
No, but
You know that has to
It
come
tugs
from
at your
yourself.
heartstrings, because I recently had to be very tough in a way that I never thought I would ever have to be tough on my oldest child, but I know that if I continued to enable her, she would not be
She's not
anywhere
gonna
near where
grow.
she is
She's not
right
gonna
now.
learn.
And because I was tough, and God in heaven knows it hurt, I cried, I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna go get my kid. I was like, no, you gotta keep your foot on her neck, because now, 3-4 months later, my kid is in a whole different headspace.
Mhm.
And more so, here's the thing, confident and proud of herself.
Mhm.
Because she was able to pull herself out of what she created, and she's still doing
And
it.
the thing is, tough love doesn't mean you turn your back on your child. You know,
No,
tough love doesn't, it just means you're not enabling them.
yeah,
Tough love doesn't
They
mean that
gotta
you
learn.
just overlook your kid.
What I think-
Oh, I do not enable.
I
I
don't
think
enable.
the easy part from
Not
like
enable.
when we're talking about generational things, you know what I mean? Like my parents showed tough love because they didn't have it like that.
yeah.
Right,
Right now, I have it, and I gotta be like, no, you can't have this because I know you need to learn. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I got it in my hand.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do? I mean, you know what I mean? I can't just say, no, you ain't getting it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't. And I.
I've had to learn to stop enabling, because I have,
Because that's the
I
difference.
don't, because there's a difference.
I don't enable, and I have been ridiculed for not enabling, but if this child cannot be respectful, I cannot.
Oh.
Now, that's a
Oh,
whole
no,
different,
no,
that's a
no,
whole
no,
nother-
that's a
no,
whole
no,
different
no.
segue, because we're not keeping 18-year-old disrespectful as kids.
I ain't taking
In
no
my house.
7-year-old distance.
No.
You put a 7-year-old up, get out.
Pack your shit. You going somewhere.
Get out.
Pack your
I think
shit.
once they
You
get,
going
once they
somewhere.
get teenagers, there's gonna be some point in time where they are disrespectful.
Yes.
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
I was.
You
These
gonna
kids
have
gonna
to-
try you.
They gonna try you.
Yes, it is. It's gonna happen.
they gonna try you, but
That's what I
once
mean
they
by
get to a
the
certain
daddy's
age-
girl and the mama's boy. You know what I mean? Like the girls, they try me and they get away. And my son, I'm like, yo, you can, yo.
Yeah, like,
Oh.
right, exactly,
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
'Cause at
Because I
some
know where he
point,
gotta go.
When my oldest child, I was like, it seemed like it's two women in the same house, but only one of us is paying the bills, and we got a problem.
Oh,
Cause there might be two women in the same damn house, and
No.
you trying to be on my level.
Now we
So, yeah.
talking grown women moves and grown boy moves. You know what I mean? So if you wanna go and hang out, you wanna go dating.
Yeah.
You wanna go have some sex.
Okay.
You wanna go over there. Them grown folks moves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute.
You gonna have to have a grown.
You come in here with a nigga, he get in there, you money.
Right,
Or you made all.
exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah.
We agree with
Single
that.
women, when single women are raising
Did y'all have
sons,
sex in your
I've
parents' house?
heard, so, that's what I'm going.
We have to present that
Oh.
part. It's not gonna be on.
So
I'm telling all our business.
Right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, chocolate bunny.
She had this funny, we know you Jessica Rabbit.
No, yeah, Jessica Rabbit.
Okay,
Oh.
chocolate, go ahead.
Joyce
But,
this funny reference.
see, y'all about to make me lose my train of thought.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Go ahead.
I have heard men say that we should allow boys to do certain things in our home because you don't want them in the streets doing those things.
Yeah,
What y'all got to say?
You said yeah?
yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Like,
so-
so
certain
when we
sense.
talking
I
about
would have
having
my kids
sex,
drink
I
with
should
me
allow
in
my,
the
my
home than
child.
outside.
Okay,
Like
that's
that.
drinking.
I would have my
Drinking.
kids at a certain age, if you're 18, 19, you wanna have a drink, I want my son to drink in front of me. 'Cause
Can
wanna-
they
I
have
wanna
sex
see how-
in your house?
And if
no,
they do it in front of you,
can't-
they gonna
can't
do it
ask that
outside?
question.
Let me.
I can't ask that.
Hold on, I'm telling
You
you.
know?
I mean,
You ask-
let's get into it.
You said her
Listen,
man
about
said
sex.
things that when the kids do, and I'm telling you, that's what I prefer my son. If he's gonna drink, I want him to drink in front of me. So I wanna see how he react when he is drunk, so I know what to look for if he go out. Or smoke. So I don't mind my kids having a drink or two in front of me.
Okay.
When they're of age.
Yeah,
But having sex in the house, that ain't
absolutely
happening.
not.
No, he said of age.
Absolutely.
So
Of
this is
age.
the answer that I have gotten before, especially with the having sex thing. Do you really want your child to be at some little fast tail girl house, not knowing what kind of company she keep in and out of her house?
Or
And
sneaking in.
he in her house and get caught out there.
What you gonna do if
Is this the same perspective of girls moving in with their boyfriends and living with their boyfriends and that boyfriend mama? Cause that's the things I ain't never
Yes.
seen before. My
You
mama
got
always told me-
chocolate bunny
Oh,
prayer.
hold on, right. My mama always told me if I wanted to hunch, I needed an apartment. So when did it become acceptable for girls to move in with their boyfriends and live?
See,
with
but
their
that's
boyfriend mama?
exactly
That
what
the
we
same
talking
thing?
about. The mothers of boys will allow your daughter to come lay up in their house.
And cook breakfast and wash clothes.
Well, I've had.
Pancakes.
Because they live there.
I ain't no damn pancakes.
Well, I guess that's the
I
only
ain't
way they
allowed.
can do
I don't
it.
know
I
if
ain't
they're
allowed it
approved.
in my house, but I would wake up in the middle of the night and find girls in my house.
I don't know if they approve.
They just
They
was chilling.
They just was chilling. It's too late, we already fixing the ham sandwich. We already fixing the ham sandwich. But on a real note that, you know what I mean, like I think it's always about what we do. How we learn things, how we perceive things, you know what I mean? Because I've done, I couldn't imagine, man, my daughter coming to my house talking about, me and Leroy, we going to the bedroom.
Why give it new right?
I was just like, wait,
I'm just saying, they like, wait,
I couldn't.
you going to what room?
No, they're
Doing
not
what?
doing that. No.
And
Leroy
and
brings
what
his
age
ass
are
over
we
here.
talking about? About
Hopefully,
teenagers?
We're talking about
We not
doing
doing
it.
I mean, if they married, no.
We're talking about 18 over, if you're talking about 18.
I don't
Right,
think
because
I
at 18, kids think they grown. Even
Yeah.
when they in your
Or-
house,
or
you
you're
have
grown.
to explain to them why
That
they're not grown.
And still you have to abide by rules.
Right.
No matter who
Because
comes.
my
That's
thing
the
is,
thing.
you
You're right
are
about
not
that.
grown if you're staying here and I'm paying for the roof and you are still a
Groceries.
child.
It's something about that
Yeah.
number.
School clothes.
It's something about
I
that
don't
number.
care
As soon
what
as they
age
get
it is.
18, somebody
Yeah.
told them they was adults.
adults.
You
Yeah.
can be 18, you can be 30.
Oh, society told me.
But if
So
you
society
go
does-
outside my rules, I'm gonna
Then
tell you quick,
exactly.
get your shoes.
Get your things.
You
go
know
I
what
mean,
I'm
ahead.
saying?
obviously,
Get
if you
your
still
shoes.
live in this house, you ain't
You know
wrong.
what I'm
You
saying?
show up, man.
Shut up, say it again,
Do
John.
Go
we
in here.
try to
Oh,
talk
you can
to
miss
this
me at
person?
grown
We try
stuff,
to-
'cause
we
you ain't
try to
grown.
steer
So
them.
check this out,
You're
right?
still a child.
I had a rule in my house. Like I had my daughter there and shit, man. We chilling, and she comes home from Distillery or one of them places,
Still, we got some good chicken.
and she has some chicken wings.
See?
Right?
What I
She's
just
full.
said.
She's full, right?
Okay.
She puts it in the refrigerator. I mean, the extra chicken wings in the refrigerator and goes to sleep. I come down working C shift.
You didn't eat her chicken.
I come
You ate
down.
her chicken?
I came down
Wait a
and
minute.
I look in the refrigerator. There's some chicken.
We
Yeah,
got chicken.
you didn't put that chicken in there.
We got chicken.
Wait a minute,
Oh,
hold on,
in my refrigerator.
hold on. Say it.
We got
Now,
chicken.
hold on.
Because when I buy groceries, you put it in there.
Anytime it goes in the refrigerator,
They are
you can have your
community.
fill.
That's so disrespectful.
No, it's not. How's that
Do
disrespectful?
you go through her diary?
No.
It's the same thing.
No, that's
It's
right.
the same person.
No.
Hey,
Hey,
those wings.
It's the same person.
they're in my refrigerator that I paid electric for. I bought the refrigerator. How
you
you
didn't buy
gonna
the
put
wings?
how you gonna put some chicken wings in there and tell me I can't eat them?
You didn't buy them.
If
You
she
got
ate
them.
your wings, how would you feel?
Whenever I put it in the refrigerator and I'm full, I'm good.
I put it in the refrigerator because I was done with it.
But
I
how
put it in the refrigerator to be somewhere tomorrow.
you know what she said?
Right.
Well, then you gonna stop me from eating tonight? That's stop me from eating tonight, though?
Yeah.
You gonna eat from-
You ain't your own chicken.
Say it again, JT.
That's
I don't care about no chicken wings. That's
That's
bad.
self. I don't give a damn if it's a hamburger, half a sub.
Ask about the milk or the eggs.
I'm right.
Or, so whatever's in the refrigerator
Yeah.
is communal property.
Oh, no. I wouldn't agree with you. Not chicken.
I am hot like
Anything but chicken.
I'm hot like fire.
Don't be playing with chicken with me.
Here's a child that was able to come in my refrigerator her whole life and eat whatever the fuck she want. And as soon as she decided to get some money and buy her own chicken wing, you gonna tell me that I got
When I bought the McDonald's or the chicken wings or whatever and put it in the refrigerator, we have no problem with it.
Hey!
Listen, you come into my house and I pay my bills and you should
That rule is fine as long as you're talking about my chicken, okay? I will cut up over some chicken.
So because they in your house,
We
they don't have no privacy, they don't have no
I'ma have
property, they community
No.
property.
No.
Because it's in your house.
No, no.
No lock, no door, none of that.
Chocolate bunny. I said, yo, if I went to the distillery and put some chicken wings. No, that wasn't the name? Okay, you know what I'm saying? So when I put chicken wings in the refrigerator, she's allowed to go eat them.
Oh.
So I'm trying to figure out why robbed. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
telling you, that rule is cool for anything in the damn house except chicken wings.
And
It goes,
That's
you
where we
know
got
what she told me?
problem.
Next time I'm gonna put my name on it.
Woo!
That's cool. That's only.
Chicken wings.
That's only gonna be the reason why I'm gonna come to you and thank you.
Exactly.
And I wanna thank
Like
you.
the work refrigerator, you put your.
I do have to say that.
On my refrigerator at work.
Where the bartender went?
My daughter would ask. She would.
Bartender.
She would.
Bartender, they said
She
they
knows
got
that it's
a
free.
You're fired.
So does she say, "Ma, can you not eat my chicken, please?" Does she say that?
She will say
Will you
that.
not eat her chicken?
And I will.
Okay, that's all I care about. Just don't eat the baby chicken. You can eat the baby.
And she also better bring me some. That I better have.
That's
one.
the J they never bought me nothing. They come back in, they ate real good. And they be like, "Oh, no, we good." Yeah, I see.
And that's funny you say that,
I don't
man,
mess
because
with
my
them
daughter, my oldest daughter got her first job, she took me out to breakfast. You know what I mean? It was on Central Park or whatever. But, you know what I mean? She paid for it.
That was good though.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It was good for
Yeah, I
her.
took pictures and everything.
Yes.
My youngest daughter, one of my younger daughters, just bought the food that we had at the last
We're
restaurant.
going on time.
Thank you.
And I'm like, man, ain't no way.
Okay.
So I mean, like, it's exciting when they pay, cause the shit don't happen on a remote.
It
Trust
don't.
me. I don't give a damn how old it is. And what I found out after they turned 21, even though, you know what I mean, that's what I was saying, we was out of the house early, before
Right.
21. These kids
Hell, like, I was
nowadays.
working on my second kid.
Yeah.
Everybody get every shot of this.
Yeah.
Honestly, yes.
Telling them to
I
do
did
it.
so much
Oh,
damage,
yeah.
I did so much everything. But, these kids now, when they turn 21, it's a whole different type of parent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a whole
It,
different.
Yeah, it really
it is,
is.
and it has to be.
And I was
It
just
has to be.
asking people the other day, I was like, man, am I a failure? Because my kid don't know everything.
But that's
At
a
21.
valid question, and I think
At
every
21,
parent
they
gets
don't
to
know
it.
everything.
And they're not supposed to know everything.
You know what I'm saying? But they don't know half the shit I knew at 16.
To be honest with you, I still don't know everything. I know more than my
I'm 45,
20-year-olds, but at 43, there's still a lot of life I still don't know that I need my mama for.
I personally feel that is happening to our children because we're spoiling them.
Yes.
We're not allowing them.
Yes.
When you say.
We're not
That's what I
teaching
would
them.
say. I think
Yeah.
our
I think
generation
both.
spoiled these
I think
kids.
it's
Oh,
both.
no.
I think we spoiled these
Put that
kids.
shit on me.
Yeah, don't put it on me.
We're not attempting them because
Honestly, we
it
have
goes back
spoiled
to
these
what we
kids,
said
this
earlier,
generation.
They're not supposed to know.
They're not, but see, the
absolutely
thing about
supposed
it
to
is,
know. We
our
have to teach
generation
them.
has spoiled these kids because back in the day, there was things we didn't get that we felt we got deprived for.
And we-
But now as we're older, we realize, well, shit, we didn't need it, but we gave it to our
We
kids.
overcompensated.
Now, y'all women got
We-
me.
these
Y'all women
kids-
gonna have to get some ownership.
Listen, these
Yeah.
kids, we
We-
are, we just.
we-
Y'all said we when it was y'all.
But it's a y'all because I'm a single parent.
I think as a generation, our generation has raised spoiled
That put
kids.
me in the cycle.
I'm
You
not
said
saying,
that your
I'm-
girls are spoiled. You
Right.
said those are daddy's girls.
No, but did you see how she was tripping with him in the refrigerator with them chicken wings?
I just said don't eat the baby.
That's never about the relationship.
I got her back on the chicken now.
Yo, and we battled about that shit. You
I'm
can pack
telling
your
her about the
shit.
chicken.
Get the hell out of here if I can't eat my
Who ate
chicken.
my damn chicken wings? Somebody about to die
We
tonight.
overcompensate.
Let it go.
Nah, she
We
take-
overcompensate.
If she take my
Don't
Kanye, if she take my Kanye and give it a little more
I
head,
bet she know better.
Wait,
oh hell, go
the
break.
boyfriend can't
The
handle
boy can you can't drink.
What we do.
And if I come in my house and it smell like Medizzi,
Yeah, yeah. Now, I might have had sex in my parents' house, but they didn't know about it. You know what I mean? I'm not co-signing no shit.
you touch my baby girl.
Oh, she giving permission.
Not only she probably
My
jumped
mom
on
brought me
his
to it.
ass.
I'm about to say she had to go.
Yeah, you should have resisted.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you
You gotta respect
resist?
the boundaries.
I be
When
seeing
you
the police,
jump on
the police
somebody's
say,
child,
oh, your black
When
ass
you
was
jump on
resisting
somebody's
arrest.
daughter, do you resist? No,
Huh?
you do not. When you jump on somebody, you don't resist.
Hey, since I've been grown a long time.
Mhm.
They own me on,
So
they
there's
been
an
on,
exception
they
to the
been
law.
on me for a long time. I don't know about back when they was my kids' age, but right now, yeah. You better back up off me, so cut down.
Yo.
These girls these days ain't scared.
Hey,
Oh, no.
Shit, right about now, if you get on me, I'm gonna be like, do it till you satisfied.
Stop.
What you say? Do it till you satisfied.
Get it off.
Bring it back, please bring it back.
One at a
Okay.
Nah, bring it back.
time. One at a time.
So we rounding about 6 minutes. How
Okay.
y'all wanna close this out?
Well,
I think this was a very, very, very good conversation.
Do we think that so I think we just kind of basically said what the issues are. We definitely haven't touched
We
on how
touched
to
on
how
it.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we fix it?
As a community.
Well, I think, man, the structure, man, is that I think a lot of things we have to realize, man, that you need a man and a woman as a structure in this thing. And until we get back to the man and the woman being a structure, and when I'm saying if you're a single mom, you know what I mean, like try to reach out to an uncle or brother
Right.
or grandfather or somebody, because you're gonna need somebody.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Single
Yes.
mom, me. Let's go there.
Yes.
Do it on your own.
Daddy, I ain't got one of them.
Mhm.
Brothers are younger than me. I raised them.
Mhm.
They not helpful. One of them, he stayed in and out of wherever he stayed in and out of wherever he be college. He be in college.
You got one of your sons?
Hey, I'm at that same college. I'm at that same
He
college.
still can help.
Life.
Hold on.
Help with what? He the one I needed help with.
Nah, but he can still help.
So,
That your son.
Go ahead.
No,
daddy,
go ahead.
that daddy non-existent, ain't no uncles, ain't no other brother. Cousins, they early 20s got into whatever they got into, so they weren't around. I literally found myself reaching out at work,
And that's.
Ain't gonna pay
coworkers, trying to
Neighbors.
find mentors for the
Church.
child, all of
Yeah.
that. Do you think it was not easy? These guys
It's
out
not
here in this
easy.
community do not take interest in your sons unless your sons are athletic.
Yep.
And they can do something with them.
Mm-hmm.
Or
So you
they
point-
can do something with
Hold
you.
on, you just pointed.
Or they can do something with you.
You just pointed.
Or they
That's
can do
hard.
something with you.
Did you just point a finger?
And then it's not
Did you
easy.
just
Yeah.
point a finger at the men?
If you got a
It is
booty,
not easy.
Yeah.
That is the whole point.
That part, yeah. But I'm not sharing, so
Uh-huh.
I'm literally stuck out, and I said this to my daughter the other day when we were having this long, drawn-out conversation, that I have never felt more alone in my life than raising my son.
Mm-hmm.
I got no help.
And that's rough.
I begged help.
And that is
Got nothing from
unfortunate.
nowhere.
Well, you got help now.
Well, you got the,
You got help now.
I always got the occasional, okay, she got a booty, so
Right.
we're gonna talk. We're
Right.
gonna act
Let's
like,
see what-
we're gonna
They
act like
about
we're gonna
it.
do
Right.
something to see how far I can get with it.
Right.
And when they realize it's not gonna, you're not getting anywhere. They're done.
I'm not, I understand what you're saying, you know
And
what
a
I mean?
lot of the times it's a luck of the draw too, honestly.
She just cut me off, but okay.
It's the luck of the draw,
Oh,
because you touched on the fact that it's not easy.
It is hard.
Never
And sometimes, you know, you just have to be lucky to have someone that falls in that corner, to a neighbor.
But we're a
coworker.
community.
But right.
How do I have to be
And that-
lucky? I have coworkers that consider me family, but I couldn't get them to help me with this child.
Right,
That's
right.
the luck of the draw.
And you know what?
Unfortunately, and I'm not saying that's how it should be.
And I get
Not how it should
you,
be.
you know what I mean, like when my kids was young and stuff like that, I went to a PTA meeting, I used to go to the PTA meetings and all of this stuff. And they treated me like a celebrity,
Yeah, because you
because
were
I was,
in that
I was like a
social
rare
system.
commodity. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately.
And like, you know, and I tell people all the time, man, when we dealing with the city schools, all my kids went to city schools and not going some kind of, something like that they graduated.
Right.
But they graduated because I go and see the teachers and I give them my email, my text messaging, my phone number, my address, whatever.
We need more
And
of you.
and if you had my kids miss an assignment, call me. If my kid's not there, call me. If my kid's acting up at school, call me. But if the marking period is over with and you tell me my kid's got an F and I ain't heard from you,
Right.
it's your problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we got a problem.
But see, what's happening now, and especially in the inner cities, and I know we don't have that much time, but what's happening in the cities now is that when I start making some more money, I take my kids out of here and take them to the suburbs. And guess what I'm gonna start doing? I'm gonna start coming to the PTA meetings.
Yep.
I'm gonna start getting phone calls. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start doing all these things. So.
That is 110%
I am
true.
dealing, I'm literally right now, my two oldest kids went through the city school district, this last one, she's in Fairport. I'm not telling you it's night and day.
It's totally different.
Oh,
It's
You
sure.
can't try like about red
There's
my
no
nerves.
way in
It
the
is
world
everything.
you can send your kid anywhere for 6 hours and just turn your back on them.
Yep.
You can't send them to school for 6 hours for I don't know how many days, 8 hours.
At least you
I mean,
should.
for 8 months.
We gotta wrap it up.
So we gotta
We're
wrap
gonna have
it
to
up.
wrap it up.
Right,
Really?
It's done, but it was really, really.
Hey, man, I will go by so
And
fast.
I didn't even get to say, man, I like
They say when
you.
you have
Well, go ahead and say it real quick, Jamie. Go
We
ahead.
don't wanna waste
and
no
say
more
it.
time.
I'll
Say
wait
what
till
you
the
gotta
next
say.
time.
Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Yes, thank you for tuning in, to therapy session, first episode. We'll catch y'all in 2 weeks.
Therapy sessions.
I
Like,
know.
share, tell a friend.
Yes, tell everybody, share it, share it,
And
share it.
please hit me with something that you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
yes,
Comments,
yes.
likes,
We need a
whatever.
catchphrase.
We gonna have one.
Let's
We
talk
gonna
about
have-
it.
Let's talk about it. I like that.
Keep talking, keep this.
I like that.
Keep
Hey, man.
jumping on.
I love it, man, because we all in the cycle, man. I like brothers and sisters sitting down talking about things.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And like, you know, we may disagree, but we can always love to disagree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be another topic because not everybody can love to disagree.
Oh, we
That's a
gonna-
maturity
I like to
level.
hear from
That's a
OG.
maturity level.
We ain't.
Tammy, I'm trying.
Mother of two young men.
Mother of
I mean,
two young men are mothers of daughters
Oh,
and
man, I ain't
teachers
saying
of
that.
ladies and not chase the boys. Times have changed, girls
Are
have
we
chased.
still on?
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
could technically teach your daughter not to chase, but that don't mean they don't listen.
I mean, you're supposed to teach your
Hormones.
Hormones and influences.
We can't control them.
All we
Sure
can do
cannot.
is teach them. Doesn't mean everything that
Keep
we
your legs
instill in our
closed.
kids and teach them
That
is
they're
gonna
actually gonna do,
happen.
because remember, they are in, they're young,
It's
they're
going
rush,
over.
they're going
From
through.
home,
So I can
remember,
teach
he
my
left.
daughter, you don't do this,
That's
but
why
now
I
if you go to
was
school and you see two of your homegirls do it.
I think once our kids reach a certain age, the
At least that was my
majority
problem.
of their influence is with parents.
Yeah, the only thing you can do is
And they
is
stop
hope
listening
and
to their
pray.
parents.
And they
It's
start
a